Hi, Taryn here, and I thought I would share a little something that's been helpful to me during the quarantine, and hopefully it'll be helpful for some of you if you're struggling during this time. So, for those of you who don't know me, I've basically been in some version of quarantine for almost a year now. Last May, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer that had spread to my lymph nodes. And that marked the beginning of a very long journey of 4 months of chemotherapy, surgery, 6 weeks of daily radiation, which I completed in January, and another 4 or 5 months of antibody infusions, which I'm still undergoing. So, long phase of treatment, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of unknowns, and there was a period that was particularly trying when I just didn't know, I really didn't know how serious my prognosis was and you know, if I'd ever get better again, if I'd ever feel normal again. You know, my life was put on hold, and for someone who goes 150 miles an hour, that was really frustrating. To have to turn down work opportunities and miss best friends' weddings and just generally not even be able to enjoy the things that I'd always derived pleasure from, like simple things like walking to the beach, because I was just too sick to enjoy absolutely anything. There were days when I would just look at a calendar and think to myself, how am I going to make it through? Like, I can't even get through a day, never mind make it through another week of this, or 3 weeks of this, or 3 months of this. And I just remember thinking it will never end. And it does end. You know, you make it out on the other side. But one of the things that was really helpful for me during that time, an exercise that I picked up from a good friend of mine, was to sit down with my future self and ask her questions. I would ask my future self how she felt about the experience of going through cancer and what lessons she had learned and what beauty it had brought into her life. And you know, what's interesting is when you're in the middle of something, you can never see those things. It's only when you have some time and some distance that you can actually start to create real meaning out of it. And having that experience with my future self, even though it was just an imagination exercise, was so incredibly profound, because I found that there was this inner woman who had all the wisdom inside and knew exactly how she felt about this experience of going through cancer and what it had meant to her and brought into her life. And that woman knew how to make it through. And so I've continued doing this exercise through the quarantine, because there are definitely days where I'm like, oh, this is really not fun. I don't want to be in this another day. And so I interviewed Taryn 6 months from now, and I asked her what she thinks I should learn from this experience. And she always imparts some wisdom on me that I couldn't have told myself. So maybe this is something that you might find helpful. I don't know. Maybe it won't be. But I have a feeling that within each one of you lies a more wise, maybe more profound perspective on the events that have unfolded. And maybe your future self will tell you to just Netflix and chill for the next 3, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, however long this thing ends up being. Or maybe your future self will tell you to go inside, go deeper into your own personal experience, and take this as an opportunity to really excavate and contemplate and think about what kind of life you want to build when you come out of this. And anyway, maybe that'll bring you some hope as well. I hope it does. All right. Happy quarantining.